All right, I have to prioritize this project. Have a couple days window of time before it rains and gets really cold. So this is where I'm going to have my wood burning stove. This guy right here, he's probably 2/3 the size of a regular stove. I mean, I would say regular. I mean, it really isn't a regular size, but it is smaller than normal, and it's going to go right here. I was debating on the hearth pad and what to do about it. Since it is concrete, I mean that's a benefit. I do have to get a heat shield up there too, so I was just trying to figure out what I have in my inventory. So I have my old fireplace bricks. I didn't really want to use these because I knew they were crumbly and stuff. So I'm going to pick out the best ones that are strong, and I'll just use this stuff. I'm going to make it so I could upgrade it later if I need to, but I might as well just use the materials I've got. Doesn't need to be a big hearth either, so I just figure I could get enough out of this. So I collected the best ones. I took the hardest bricks and put them right where these 4 legs are going to go. Gives me more confidence. The rest of them, I know they'll at least crack or something. But I'm just trying to figure out, doing a research on, the distance from the wall and heat shield and all that stuff. So I'll have to get to this later, but most of the bricks are going to be there. They even have like a charred look to them. Just style I was looking for. Got the basic idea though on here. I'm going to research my heat shield thing that I'm going to need. And I also know that this stove might be a little big for this space. I'm not quite sure, but I already had planned that if it is too big, I could use this for my main house later, and then reduce the size of this one. But I want to, sometimes I usually think overkill for something when I don't know something. And for these really cold winters, like last winter, I would rather have something overkill than underkill. And that's what I had last winter. It was just I didn't have enough. And so that's what I was going to do. This is a nice stove though. I'm actually so glad I found it. It's a rare one, I think, because of the size. Smaller than normal. Fairly good price with flue pipe already included. This is a temporary-ish install. So this is my way of just putting it there, making it work, and then having it upgradable or downgradable or whatever I need it to be. I looked at the manual, I looked at internet forums and stuff like that. Essentially, you need a certain amount of inches around each thing. The flue pipe, like a single-walled flue pipe, the stove itself, the hearth pad. So you'll have to look at the manual or whatever specifications. 18 inches from the stove was kind of a recurring number. This is going to be less than 18 inches because I want to make the most of the space. And it says 18 inches to anything combustible, but it said if you have a heat shield, then you can go up as close as 6 inches. And I just don't know if this information is for all stoves, and that's where I'm trying to figure out if it's a smaller stove than this, then it could be closer with a heat shield, stuff like that. Plus, stoves have a heat shield on the back. Some stoves do. It looks like this one does. It's kind of have a heat diverter or something. It goes from the bottom and it kind of goes up, and then it probably helps with pulling in the cool air and then pulling up, letting it flow out like that. I don't know if that makes a difference. Probably does a little bit. And then there's the inches. I think there's like a certain amount of inches, maybe 18 inches from the flue pipe to anything combustible. So I'm going to make a heat shield all through this corner here from this little closet area, because this is close enough too, so I'll probably have to have a heat shield there. Since I have concrete, I don't have to worry about the floorboards or anything like that, so I'm pretty safe there. I just have to worry about this barnwood. I got to make sure I do that right with that. I do have the double-walled flue pipe, so I'm not worried about that. As far as I have everything correct, it's just I may have to adjust things, so you just kind of have to bear with me as I do this. Alright, I think I'm starting to understand this better. I know it's going to be difficult to pick this out, but sidewall minimum of 18 inches on the sidewall. Back wall is a little closer if it wants. So 18 inches is the recurring number that I'm seeing. So basically, and that's to anything combustible. So basically, if this didn't have a heat shield, I would have to have it 18 inches away. So basically there's a combustible wall there, so 18 inches from there, and I'm doing pretty good from the corner. And then the flue pipe is almost 18 inches out, but I'm going to extend this heat shield all the way up. So that should take care of it. I don't even need one to extend into that corner. It's far enough away. Alright, so I'm starting to feel a little more confident with it. Slow process. This normally would take just a couple hours for a normal person, but I have to go through a lot of just sitting here looking at it and looking through information. Slowly but surely, I'm getting measurements and stuff like that. I kind of have to make up my own little method of doing some things sometimes. And I don't know how to describe this to you, but when you've never done something before, you know the feeling. Just kind of feeling naked in the dark, and you're just like, got so many different variables going on. And especially when you do something permanent like this, and you're cutting through a roof, and you're just wondering if you did everything else right, and you know where you want it. You want to minimize your mistakes and stuff, but those brick walls that you hit like that, just kind of have to figure, you know, you did as much preparation as you can. You just got to go forward and break through that feeling. But I love the feeling at the same time, because I know I'm breaking through new territory that I've never been in before, and I know I'm going to learn something, and I know I'm breaking through barriers that I've had before. So that feeling is a good feeling. It's kind of like going through you do as much as you can until your fears kind of come to a point where you're just gonna have to do something about it. You just go forward. Hey, we got a nice little spider over there. Alright, it makes it authentic barnwood style, along with the genuine bird poop. Got to retain the historical value to it. I'll just use my little skill saw to get through the drywall, and the roof decking I'm gonna use my Sawzall for. But basically, I just got a drill bit, drilled one hole, and just drilled around it. got an approximate hole there. Not bad. I mean, I just kind of measured for this, and then I have to cut a little bit bigger to get the double-walled flue pipe up there. Basically, when this was in there, I just kind of took my leveler made sure it was straight up and down, and then I just made sure it was level all the way up, and then just traced my circle around. That's how I did it. So that's approximately where I need it. It's pretty close, and if I do need to adjust a little bit, I'll just kind of scoot the stove back or forth or something like that. So that's my logic that I went through just to make myself feel good enough to go ahead and start cutting. Got this extra piece of drywall. I don't know where that can go. I got through the insulation. I'm now to the roof decking. The other challenge was trying to find something to give some gap for this flue pipe, and I need to, from my research, I guess you need about an inch of gap around any insulation or wood around the double-walled flue pipe. So I found this bucket, and it seems like it might be a little more than an inch. It kind of tapers down, but I think that'll work if I could somehow fit it in there. But all I'm looking for is that barrier so that insulation doesn't touch it. I'll see if that works. If not, I'll try something else. Alright, so now I have my bucket as my standard. I know it's going to work. So I cut it out. As long as it fits up in there, I know I'm going to fit it in straight up and down like that. But I'm just looking for something to start with so I can cut the hole in the decking accurately. Now this is the part where I'm nervous because it's a permanent thing. I'm cutting a hole in the roof, and so I'm just making sure I do as much as I can. I did there was a vent, like a hot water vent on my main house that I did. I have somewhat experience in doing it, but this is a whole new hole rather than making one bigger like I did on the house. So I'm just kind of hesitating, research as much as I can with this one. But basically what I'm going to do, I think what I did last time was, I know basically where I'm going to cut. I know the hole that I need. So I'm taking this big bit on my drill, and I'll just drill on one side of the circle, and then I'm going to take my my handy dandy Sawzall, and then I have a long enough blade on there so I could, once I start in the hole, I'll just start cutting around in the circle, and I'll use this drywall circle as my guide. So I'll just kind of cut around like that, and then once I get this main hole done, and I'm going to go through all the shingles and everything. So, and this metal, this blade can handle metal as well, so if I hit any nails, it'll cut through them. So once I get this main hole basically cut, I'm going to do my fine-tuning trimming after that. So if I have to make this hole a little bit oblong, kind of an oval, since it's gonna be going straight. There's gonna be kind of an angle, so I'm gonna kind of trim up later, but I at least needed the hole exactly where I want, and so that'll give me somewhere to start. That makes sense. Basically, I'm just going to get the hole all the way through, and then I'll trim up from there. Well, I'm committed. No turning back. So it's all going to come out of there, shingles and everything. I did have to cut through one nail. Alright, we'll see how that goes, but better work. And I better get this done within 2 days. Rain's coming. So this is what it looks like up top. And these shingles are pretty bad. But remember, I'll be putting some metal sheeting over this. Exactly how I did it over there. It'll act as a like a heat shield, just like I'm doing with the fireplace down there. That same concept. So works really well with that shed. I can't emphasize that enough. So a lot of heat will be blocked, and this insulation will help, but that heat shield will just reflect that sun, keep the sun from touching this, and it'll just make a huge difference. But anyway, I know I'm gonna have to trim a lot of it, so I brought my bucket up here for reference, so I know exactly where to cut to make it. At this point, I feel it's almost like jumping off a cliff. You feel that first initial rush, and then you're like, oh, okay, I'm glad I did this. It'll be okay. I've done the rest before. So I think I got it. I'm gonna modify this bucket so it won't taper out. It'll be more of a straight cylindrical shape. So it'll fit down. As long as the bottom fit through there, I knew it was going to be just right. So, and then I'll cut out the bottom to exactly the 8 inches of flue pipe, so it'll just kind of fit around this. And we'll have a tiny little gap for it. So, it's got to work. Basically, it was just trimming, and re-trimming just to get the right measurement. So I have a skylight now, basically. Got the bucket bottom cut out of there. Now that I have this pretty much where I want, I have a good idea of how I want to build my framing so I could hold up this flue pipe. This will be the main bracket that'll hold the weight of it. So I'm gonna get one of my previous boards that were up there already before, and I'll get an approximate placing of it. I get 2 of them on each side, so I have kind of this square box around it, so I have places to mount. So on this bucket, I just cut down the side, so when I push it in, it'll just kind of straighten out just like that. I do have some aluminum tape I'm going to put over the cut. Keep that closed. Essentially, we're just trying to keep the insulation from touching the side of the flue pipe. to kind of finagle it a little bit, but that's pretty much what it'll look like. It'll be down further. Now I do have a little bit of experience with flashing with when I was repairing the vent for my water heater on the main house. This is pretty much the same thing, so you could see where it was installed before. The shingles went about right there, so that'll give me kind of a reference on how far back I need to take the nails off and then slide it in. So I slid this under as much as I could. I'm just basically getting a feel for how much, or getting a rough estimate of where I'm going to have to cut. It's going to be about that much. And then just this much to slide in there. So I might not have to take out too many nails, maybe one or two. I don't know why the roofers put in a nail right there. That's a no-no from what I understand. Should be under that. Anyway, maybe that was a repair or something, but I could patch it up or something. I think I'm almost there. I'm not sure completely, but by the way, to cut these shingles, I got this special blades for cutting shingles. It helps a lot. I used before I used like a Rego blade and it made it dull really quick, but this is like super handy. Luckily I didn't have to pull out too many nails, just 2 of them, and I just don't want to mess with these shingles too much or else they'll crumble apart. And I might have to do a little bit of patchwork on that, but I'm going to stick the flue pipe through there and just kind of test it and then just adjust stuff. So this is pretty much what it's going to look like, and with this in there, I'll put that in there. And then the only thing I don't have is a rain collar, storm collar, whatever you call it. So it goes around this thing, hooks in there, then you seal it so rain will just go over it. I need to buy one of those. It's the only thing missing. So I got part of my brackets in there. I'll do another cross board there to make a square. It may not be necessary, but my next challenge was to figure out how to figure out the brackets or whatever to mount it on. I got these years back at a Army surplus store. Just random threaded whatever brackets. They probably mounted up some pipes with it, who knows. But I finally found a use for them. This is back when I was getting into welding and stuff, so I wanted to just get these for various things. But I'm going to do kind of 2 of them at the same time on each side, just like this, and then since it's threaded on each side, I could just tighten it however tight I need it. That'll take most of the weight on that and hold it straight up and down. When the wind hits it, it'll be pretty sturdy too. So that's how I've figured out how to solve that. So this is my brother Joe. He's here to help.
Helping.
So he's going to lower that down for me. So that's the only part I really needed help with. I got this temporary strap to strap it on, and I'll explain later what I'm going to do. So this will give a clearer picture of what I'm trying to do here with these brace bracket things. Drilled a couple holes, and then the bolts on this side will pull in this side, and then this end will pull on the other end. So it'll have this nice held together roofing. And my brother Joe's over here working on cutting this drywall edge so I could fit the rest of the barn wood. So it could fit precisely in there. He's experienced.
Yeah!
Alright, I got it mostly in. It's kind of getting dark out. Basically all I did was put a couple shingle nails under there, and I'm going to do some patchwork, and I'm going to put in some silicone stuff right underneath this, and then right around this collar again where they had it before. And then I need to get a rain collar, and I'll glop on some more silicone stuff. So it was kind of a beast trying to get this up far enough. I had to keep trimming back the shingles a little bit, but I got it situated so it's almost there, almost straight. I mean, it's like 1 degree crooked. I mean, it's not horrible, but when I'm mounting it on the inside, I'll kind of put a little pressure on it to get it straighter. Oh, that's in a time crunch. You know, the rain is coming tonight, so I knew I needed to get that done. I'm still working out my brackets there. Alright, so I beat the rain. This is the second day on this. Third day, I guess. I'm still... I had to figure out all this stuff, but I decided to give up on what I was trying to do there. It was just too complicated. So I went to the store to just buy a brace. And I saw them, and it was like $8, and it looked like this. But I thought, I'm just gonna make it. So I did. I'm like, $8. I could make it for free. It's so simple. I mean, just cutting up a little bit of sheet metal, drilling out some holes, and putting some pop rivets in there. It's as simple as that, and then I'm gonna have my brace. Alright, take a look at that. Nice and rustic and free. Nice and secure, get enough distance away from the board there. Perfect. Alright, I'm gonna call that good for a rustic style. That'll work just fine. Alright, finally got that thing in there. On the transition part, I just did what the previous owners did. Just bent that out a little bit and just slid right on there. And I had to lower the stove a little bit so I could get the flue pipe in there and then raise the stove up again to secure it. So I need to do a few more things, but it's mostly done. I got to get that damper in there. Got to find one of those, and then seal up the rain collar outside and also the heat shield. So that should be it. The only thing I need left on the heat shield is just a 1-inch little tubing or something, so it'll stand out about 1 inch. Stay away from that wall, so it'll stand out about that much. So at the end of the day, this is what I do most of the time, is sit here and I just look around and figure out what I'm going to do next. I sit on the computer and do a lot of research, trying to learn something that I have no idea what to do. And if I can't find anything on the internet, then I just try to gather as many ideas as I can and just invent my own. And so it's a slow process, and it takes me probably 10 times as long as, you know, the average person who does this all the time. Maybe 100 times as long, I don't know. but there's a lot of research, a lot of trying to figure it out, trying to solve problems, trying to get the motivation to like, because there's just the mountains of things to think about, and so I can't describe that well enough, I don't think, but this is most of my time is just sitting here, just kind of looking around, trying to prioritize things, the most important things, and just try to solve problems, think ahead as much as I can, think through everything. I don't know. It's really difficult, as there's a lot of in-between stuff that goes on that it's really not shown in the actual videos. So there's just a whole range of emotion that you can go through. Not only the discouragements, but the frustrations, the zero energy, zero motivation. I don't know. It's just hard to punch through it sometimes, but there are encouraging things, so I appreciate the encouraging comments and everything. And once in a while there's a good friend or family member or someone who comes over and helps out, so I appreciate that.